Hello, and welcome to the Freddie Mac Connect, Diversifying the Appraisal Industry and Empowering the Next Generation of Appraisers session. All lines are in listen-only mode. This session is being recorded and will be available following the presentation. If you have any questions, please use the Q&A box located in the bottom of your screen. If you have any technical issues, please also use the Q&A box and someone will assist you. Lastly, using the handouts icon, you will find links to speakers' bios and the presentation deck. With that, I will turn it over to Tamala Thurman, Freddie Mac Equitable Housing Director. Tamala, the floor is yours.
Greetings. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are honored that you chose to spend this time with us. We have some exciting information that we're going to share with you and can't wait to get started. Our speakers today are myself, Tamala Thurman, Director of Equitable Housing at Freddie Mac. I have been at Freddie Mac since 2015 and in a variety of capacities. I've been on the affordable lending team, and now I reside with the equitable housing team, where I am one of the creators and stewards of Freddie Mac's Equitable Housing Finance Plan. I have with us today Scott Reuter. Scott Reuter is Freddie Mac's Chief Appraiser and Director of Property Valuations in our Single Family Acquisitions Division. Scott brings over 35 years of industry professionalism and involvement. He is also a very well sought after speaker in the appraisal industry. We also have today with us Jillian White. She is one of the titans in the appraisal industry. With over 20 years of experience, she has been on several boards of trustees and governing boards for appraisals and appraisal industry matters. In 2022, she chose to really focus in on eradicating appraisal bias, and she's going to share some exciting insights with us today. So what's it going to look like? We're first going to talk about the Appraiser Diversity Initiative, and I will go through some of our actions that we are doing in the industry to create more representation for diverse candidates. And then we'll cross over into PREA, Practical Application of Real Estate Appraisals. And Scott Reuter is going to take us through this dynamic industry tool that's going to help more appraisers get into the industry. And then we'll jump over to Jillian White, and she'll tell us about her appraisal insights and the Biascape venture. We'll share some helpful resources, and we'll give you some things to really walk away with and actionable items that you can implement in your organizations. So let's get started. Let's jump in. Let's talk about the Appraiser Diversity Initiative. This initiative is a compilation and a partnership between Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, the Appraisal Institute, and the National Urban League, recognizing that we need to bring more diversity to the appraisal industry. It is designed to attract new entrants into the real estate field while fostering diversity among all in the profession. It helps to share information, provide guidance, make sure that there's a lot of information in the industry and resources for your organizations to join us in this initiative. And it allows those scholarship winners who come out of the program to pursue their certifications while providing financial assistance and resources. How do we do this? We have different events throughout the country where we invite everyone in the real estate ecosystem to really look at who can be and who can benefit from being in this program, in the Appraisal Diversity Initiative. We have these programs and we have these events, and we have panels and industry professionals talk to those who are interested and really give them a realistic view of what it takes to become an appraiser. We give them information and then offer them guidance and scholarships at the end of these events. It often comes in the form of people who have been boots on the ground in the appraisal industry who can really direct these new entrants and help them navigate the landscape of becoming a new appraiser. During this time, in the beginning, since the beginning of this program, we have graduated 518 applicants, and we currently have 75 scholarships that we have awarded this year. Very exciting. We also have several more events that we are going to be putting on through the end of the year, and this is going to allow us to award almost 200 scholarships in 2023. We are very excited about this program and its success and how it is really helping to diversify the appraiser industry. But there are challenges, and some of the challenges are finding supervisors for some of those graduates of the program. And that's where Scott Reuter is going to take us into talking about a very new initiative that is coming to the appraisal industry. Scott?
Well, thank you, Tamala. On the next slide, you see the tee up for PAREA. And so what is PAREA? Firstly, as an acronym, it's kind of a mouthful. It's the Practical Applications of Real Estate Appraisal. This slide really covers many of the fundamental components of PAREA, including its premise, which is really to be an alternative option and a potential solution for many of those scholars that Tamala covered. One of the biggest challenges that aspiring appraisers have, in addition to barriers to entry and the qualifying education and all the mentor support, is actually finding a supervisor. And this program, the reason we're very excited at ADI is it is going to, again, offer that maybe alternative option and another solution to these young scholars and aspiring appraisers. It's designed in module format, so it's intended to offer practical experience to these aspiring appraisers through simulations and through modules. It's not intended to be the only component of their training and of their experience, but again, it's really meant to be a bridge to hopefully getting that supervisor, getting that job, getting that hands-on trainer to trainer, supervisor to trainee kind of experience that we want them to have, but understanding that there's kind of structural challenges in the way the industry is set up now, one, and two, particularly now, it's amplified in a down market. So mortgage origination volume is down. So a lot of companies, banks, lenders that we would normally go to, while many have provided great sponsorship and support for ADI, there's just candidly not the need now to be expanding staffs to the level to be able to take on trainees. So we really remain very bullish about this, very excited, and a component to the module format, as noted, is also a mentoring. So this is not just self-serve module components that that trainees would take. They would also receive some mentoring as well with this training component. It offers a couple options. On the next slide, you'll see it also covers both licensed residential track and certified residential track. And these are options for appraisers that a lot of times based on what the state allows, as well as the different ultimate certification they may be seeking. The minimum hours may change a bit. The time to complete may offer a little bit difference. But again, PAREA is being designed to be scalable to support both of these. And again, we remain very excited as an option. And I think the following slide kind of highlights so far out of 50 states, 44 states have approved PAREA, which is very exciting. And we're continuing to pursue PAREA approval in all 50 states. The fact that that number is not at 50 yet is not concerning. We respect, all states have their own opinions and different requirements at times for licensing and certifying appraisers. But many states also have very different and unique processes. Nevada comes to mind. It's my understanding it requires some level of state legislature approval to get this program changed or integrated as a component of the training for that state. And they meet on an every other year cadence. So we haven't quite had the opportunity to get in front of Nevada yet. So that's my understanding. But anyway, again, very, very exciting option. The tireless work that Tamala and the rest of the ADI leadership put in are very excited about this, and just wanted to raise your awareness to the fact that this is an option that we're focusing on now, and again, just remain very very positive and very excited about it. I think from here we get to hear from my friend Jillian White, and to Tamala's earlier comments, she has really been leaning in very much on the expanded and broader discussions around bias and discrimination. And I've been bullish on Jillian for a long time. So I told her in the prep, I think she's the right person in the right place at the right time. So I know you'll be interested and excited to hear her comments. So Jillian.
Oh, Scott, thank you so much for that glowing introduction. And I'm really excited to be here and have the opportunity to talk to you all about Bioscape. So once again, my name is Jillian White. I am the CEO and founder of a company called Appraisal Insights. And Appraisal Insights is an educational platform designed to give regulators, financial institutions, and AMCs confidence when making decisions around the very sensitive topic of bias within appraising. And so Bioscape is one of the course offerings of Appraisal Insights. However, before I jump into the specifics of Bioscape, I first want to present a scenario. Imagine for a moment that you and your doctor have decided that you need to have surgery. You've begun your search for a surgeon. You have found somebody that you're really excited about. And so you begin to ask them very basic and preliminary questions. There are 3 questions in total. The first one is, will the facilities be clean? And the surgeon says, yes, the facilities will be clean. The second question is, will there be an anesthesiologist? And the surgeon says, yes, you'll have an anesthesiologist. And then you ask, are you board certified? And your surgeon says, no, I am not board certified. I am self-certified because I'm very confident that I can perform this surgery. My guess is that that surgeon and their scalpel is not going anywhere near your body because self-certification is not trusted. And so as it stands right now, lending institutions, AMCs, appraisal firms, all providers of third-party appraisal services are self-certifying that they are handling the very delicate topic of appraisal bias in the right way. And so Bioscape is designed to move the industry away from this self-certification and towards third-party verification. And so with that being said, I would like to introduce everyone to Bioscape. Bioscape is a first of its kind appraisal bias certification program, and it has a number of training topics broken up into 5 different modules. And so what I would like to do now is walk you through each of the modules. Module 1 is all about the appraisal bias review process. Most bias reviews are taking place currently reactively, only after the consumer has made some sort of complaint. However, we want to get to a future state where these bias reviews are being handled proactively so that if a bias appraisal has been completed, it is caught before it ever reaches the consumer. However, regardless of whether or not the review is taking place proactively or reactively, in all cases, the person who is reviewing the appraisal needs to know quite specifically what are they looking for when they perform the bias review. And so this is what is covered in module number 1. Module number 2 is all about reconsiderations of value. ROVs have been getting a lot of attention and scrutiny as of late because in this world of bias and ambiguity, ROVs are both tangible and measurable. Our consumers have very consistently communicated that it is a horrible experience to feel that your very presence in a home has the potential to reduce the appraised value. But then you add injury to insult when the methodology by which you can rebut that appraisal is unclear and ineffective. And so Module 2 is all about setting up very successful ROV processes. Module number 3 is about protecting the appraiser. In the past 11 months, I've been solicited 11 times to provide consulting on appraisal bias cases. And if I have learned nothing else, it is that when there's a bias claim, the appraiser, the AMC, and the lender are all in this together. And so therefore, it makes sense to really fortify your first line of defense, which is the appraiser. And you fortify them by providing guidance, best practices, strong recommendations, such as having them take a bias training prior to the January 1st, 2026 mandate. Also, providing guidance in terms of how to effectively communicate with the consumer, whether it be during the appraisal inspection or whether it be in regards to an ROV. And so these are topics of discussion in Module 3. Module 4 is all about enforcement and reporting. So let's say you do your bias review and you come across a report that you have decided is in fact biased. What are the next steps? When is it appropriate to report the appraiser to the state board? When is it appropriate to put that appraiser on your do not use list? And when is it appropriate to provide remediation and coaching to the appraiser to ensure that moving forward, they provide fair and unbiased appraisal reports? And so that's what's covered in module number 4. And then in module number 5, and the last module, is all about internal and external audits. Bioscape was never designed to be a standalone certification program. It was designed to dovetail into any existing internal and external audits that are taking place, such as due diligence or bank examinations. And so Module 5 is really about how to embed Bioscape into the processes that you already have in existence. These 5 modules come together to create a risk management system around the topic of appraisal bias. And this risk management system has 3 lines of defense. So the first 3 modules are your first line of defense, and that is really completed with your fulfillment and operations team. The second line of defense is module 4, and that loops in your risk team, your legal and compliance. And then the third line of defense is module number 5, where loops in your teams having to do with independent assurances. So that is a brief summary of Bioscape. If you're interested in getting additional information on Bioscape, please use the QR code at the top of the screen, and that will lead you to an informational video. So once again, my name is Jillian White. I'm the CEO of Appraisal Insights, and Appraisal Insights is introducing Bioscape, which is the first ever appraisal bias certification program. I want to thank you all so much for your time and for your attention. So back to you, Tamala.
Thank you so much, Jillian. This is really exciting information. How groundbreaking it is. So let me ask this question. When will Bioscape be offered?
So the next dates for Bioscape haven't been shored up as of yet. However, the offering will be sometime in Q1 of 2024.
That's exciting. And so how frequently will it be offered? And will it be held at specific times or just randomly?
Yeah, so Bioscape is a program that will be held with specific cohorts. So it's not ongoing. There isn't a capability to go in and take it at any point in time. However, in 2024, it will be offered no less than 2 times and no more than 3 times in that year.
Wow, that's great. So have you received any feedback from federal regulators about this program?
So when I first started talking about the program, I was really focused on having conversations with lenders and also having conversations with AMCs about it. And I've just started to have some conversations with regulators. And the preliminary conversations have gone well. I was talking to one regulator in particular, and the question was, can I sit in on the training modules? And I was like, okay, sure, not a problem. And then he went on to ask, can a couple of members of my staff sit in? And I was like, that is fine as well. And then he went on to ask, okay, how many members from my staff can sit in on these sessions? And so I was very encouraged that this regulator took such an interest in Bioscape. And so I'm going to move forward with having conversations and introducing this idea and concept to all of the regulators, and any sort of feedback that they provide most certainly is going to be embedded into the program.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, congratulations. This is definitely an intellectual success for the appraisal industry. So thank you so much for this. But before we let you go, I have a question for you. I heard you speak several years ago, and just how you got into really focusing on appraisal bias is just a tremendous family story for you. Do you mind taking a few minutes to share that with us before you get out of here?
Not at all. So my background is as an appraiser. I've been an appraiser for the past 20 years. And the first 13 years of my appraisal experience, I was out in the field, assigning my opinions of value to properties, mainly for mortgage lending transactions. And then in 2006, I joined what at that point in time was a very small digital mortgage lender by the name of Better.com. And I had the opportunity to grow their appraisal department from being very small to completing in excess of 20,000 appraisals per month. And with the combination of being a field appraiser and also having worked at what turned into a large lending institution, and then on top of it, having the experience of experience appraisal bias myself directly, and also having had the experience of whitewashing a home in preparation for a sale. I have what I like to call a very odd trifecta of experience of appraiser, lender, and Black consumer. And so when the news articles on the topic of appraisal bias started coming out, I really felt called to speak on it from all of these different perspectives. And so at the start of this, I really thought this was going to be a topic that didn't have as much longevity as it does now. But what's happened is that appraisal bias has gotten linked to home ownership, and home ownership is certainly linked to the wealth gap. And so now it's just a part of the conversation. And so it's once I realized that this topic and this conversation wasn't going away, at that point in time, I decided to transition and focus in on this exclusively. So that's a little history about how I got into this work.
Thank you so much, Jillian. It has been a pleasure having you here today.
Thank you so much for having me. Thanks, Tamala.
Absolutely. So, in conclusion, we'd like to offer some very helpful resources from our website and the Appraisal Diversity Institute website. We will have this available to you so that you can visit these websites and get more information on what we're doing at Freddie Mac, what we're doing in the industry, and how we're partnering with very viable organizations like Appraisal Insights to really bring an end to appraisal bias and increase valuation, modernization, and equity. Thank you so much for joining us today. Back to you, Camden.
Thank you, Tamala, Jillian, and Scott, for your insights and great presentation. For our audience members, if you submitted a question through the Q&A feature, we will have a member of our Freddie Mac team reach back out to you with a response following the conference. Your opinion is important to us. Please take a few moments to complete our brief survey so that we can continue to bring you timely and relevant content. This presentation deck will be sent to you following this session. You can also log in anytime after the conference to play back this or any other session. Thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of the conference.